low battery on the camera. Nut-free, dairy-free, and high protein. This is an unholy Venn diagram, and what lies in the center strikes fear and dread amongst those with taste buds. Today I'm gonna be trying a black bean chocolate smoothie. This dude's drinking beans! Anyone remember that meme? Or am I just old? They didn't say dudes in the original one. I have a mixed experience with high protein recipes on this channel. If by mixed you mean you're mixing garbage and worse garbage. Probably the worst thing I've ever tried on this channel was a high protein pudding recipe, which consisted of blending up 12 hard-boiled eggs. On the other hand, to be fair, I had a really good high protein recipe on this channel too. That was a high protein mac and cheese that used cottage cheese. But it didn't get views though, so still not a great experience overall. Now a black bean chocolate smoothie is probably gonna garner mixed reactions from the audience, but I don't think beans and chocolate is that crazy of a concept. I mean, some mole recipes use chocolate, also chocolate covered espresso beans. I know it's a different kind of bean, but it's still a bean. Now this video comes from @EpicMintLeaves on Instagram.
Sugar-free, oil-free, dairy-free, gluten-free, nut-free, 45 grams of protein without any protein powder, super tasty, super chocolatey, super healthy protein smoothie made with black beans.
This guy's voice sounds like a British guy's impression of an American guy impersonating a Swedish guy. Was that mean? If the recipe is good, I'll rescind the comment. No more jokes. It's a serious matter. Let's look at the ingredients. Today's ingredients are dates, frozen tart cherries, plant milk, cocoa powder, 2 bananas, and a can of black beans. First, if you didn't buy dates that were already pitted, make sure to pit them. While you're doing that, think about the worst date you've ever been on. Me personally, I once shit myself after a movie date. Slice up your 2 bananas. Now let's open up our can of beans. Then drain and rinse them. Let's get rid of as much bean flavor as possible before turning this into a smoothie. Combine your can of beans, 2 bananas, 3 dates, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, half a cup of cherries, and 2 cups of plant milk into the blender. Then turn that baby and liquefy until very well combined. Voila, black bean chocolate smoothie. I shouldn't be surprised that throwing a bunch of stuff in a blender and hitting liquid is quick, but I can't remember the last time I've had a video kind of fly by so fast. You know what, I will say, this is very reminiscent of the hard-boiled egg pudding in like the process and the look and the feel and the vibes, but this smells good. It smells like a chocolate smoothie. The hard-boiled egg pudding smelled like hard-boiled eggs. This has no smell of beans to it, which at the very least is a mental comfort. I wanted to put it in like a fun little glass and like a straw or something, but I don't really have a lot of stuff like that. All the straws I had were way too big and it looked silly. Let's take a sip though. All right, ladies and gentlemen, black bean chocolate smoothie. This is fascinating. I have consumed many a protein shake in my day, you know, just the standard whey protein type. So I have experience with like high protein drinks. This kind of tastes like a cheap chocolate protein shake. It has one of the hallmarks, I think, of cheap protein powders is the grainy texture it leaves behind and the overly sweet fake chocolate. Now I use real cocoa powder in this, but I think maybe I use too much and that's leading to some of the grittiness, and also maybe the beans are playing a factor into that texture. I don't know. I am not an expert in black bean smoothies. That being said, it's not bad. I don't taste beans at all. Like there's no taste of beans. The by far prominent taste is chocolate powder, 100%. Then I get a little bit of the bananas. I don't really taste any of the cherries or the dates. I would honestly maybe put a whole cup of cherries in, or reduce the rest of the recipe and leave the cherries as is. Cause I'd like to taste more of the cherry flavor, but I'm just not. This ain't high protein. This is not a high protein drink at all, in my opinion. I think maybe this serving that I have, which is like, I feel like a normal drink serving, like 1 cup, one, like, you know, not a literal measurement of the cup, but like one glass. 1 glass, I would guess maybe like 10 grams of protein. If I was looking for something high protein specifically, that is not the number I'd want to be at. Now, if it tasted really good, then maybe we could get over that hump. Obviously, you know, there's good nutritional benefits in the like bananas and the cherries and the dates and in the beans too. There's a lot of fiber in there. but it's, you know, it was labeled as high protein, which I don't think it is. But I'm not gonna take that into account too much as far as the taste goes. I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10 on the taste scale. Definitely surprising, but that being said, is it like great? No, it's good. It's, you know, bad chocolate shake. In a bad chocolate shake, I think is still pretty good. Easiness to make. I already said this kind of a little bit as soon as I got done making it. This was super quick. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10 as far as easiness to make goes. It don't get much easier than putting things in a blender and hitting liquid. Yeah, I'm just not getting any cherries. Oh, that gritty texture. It sits gritty. Sits heavy. All right. That's it. I'm done. I'm done making videos. I'm filming this March 13th. So the filming schedule's been a little crazy recently. The release schedule's been crazy recently. This probably won't come out till like early April. So I got some time to edit this, but it feels weird saying this right now, but I'll see you in May, I guess. On to recipe number 2, which actually falls in the exact same Venn diagram that the first recipe did. And this recipe would be chocolate ice cream. This one comes from @_broccoli mom. That's right, our chocolate ice cream comes from broccoli mom. I wonder what one of the ingredients is gonna be. Well, there's no time like the present, so let's take a look at those ingredients right now. 1/2 cup frozen cauliflower. Okay, well, my guess was still very close. Salt, vanilla extract, peanut butter powder. Hey, stay there. Cocoa powder, ripe spotty frozen bananas, plant milk, black beans, and because I did it in the wrong order the first time, frozen cauliflower. All right, well, that's the ingredients. Let's take a look at what her finished product looks like. Oof. You made poop from a butt. There isn't a single ice cream in the world that looks like that. This looks like it might have a hint of sandpaper put in there. Also, this is not what it looks like when you're enjoying a recipe. Either you're lying to me about this being good, or you need to reconcile what your mouth is tasting and your face is telling me. Oh boy, oh boy. We've already done 2 deeply unjust things with chocolate. Let's move on to a third. Okay, here we go. This recipe is a bit complicated, so please make sure to follow closely. First, open up your can of beans and drain them. Put everything into a mixer and blend. While we wait for this to blend, here's a cover of 1 Week by the Bare Naked Ladies. It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cocked your head to the side and said I'm angry. 5 days since you left at me, saying get that together, come back and see me. 3 days since the living room. Anyways, yeah, here's the actual final product. Cauliflower ice cream. I was gonna let it freeze a little longer, but I'm kind of on the clock here. When I made it all blended up, I think I had to use a little bit more plant milk because my blender wasn't as strong, so that made it a little bit more liquidy, not quite as ice cream right out of the gate. So I put it in the freezer about 10-15 minutes to try to kind of get it to that sort of ice cream consistency. See, it's a bit, I mean, you could see it when I poured it out, but it's a bit liquidy still. And I would say this is still thicker than the black bean smoothie, but let's give it a shot here. Not good. What I said about it looking like it has like a hint of sandpaper in there, totally accurate. It's so like grainy, it's very granulated, and that's not because my blender wasn't powerful enough. That's because we have like 3 tablespoons of like various powders in here. It's not good. Also, all the flavors are clashing at once. I can taste the bananas for sure. I can taste the cocoa powder. I can't really taste the cauliflower or beans, but I feel like they're definitely adding a bit of like a stanky taste into the overall like palate that's not good. Did it make me gag? No. Did it make me want to spit it out? Not really. No. Am I gonna have one more bite of that? No. Could I get through a whole bowl of that? No. Even if it was ice cream texture, I think that might actually make it worse. For the taste, I'm gonna have to go with a 4.5 out of 10. Not good. And for the easiest to make, I'm gonna have to go like a 6 out of 10. Because I know I made a joke about how it was really simple, but my blender really struggled to like process all of these frozen ingredients. So if you don't have a really powerful blender, I would probably avoid this recipe, even if you think it would taste good. On to the next recipe. For recipe number 3, we have scrambled brownies on vanilla ice cream. Now this one is unique because honestly, I know it's gonna taste good. But just because something tastes good doesn't mean it's justifiable. This recipe comes from this username right here. And originally it was just normal scrambled brownies on top of normal ice cream. But of course, this knockoff Mac from Always Sunny had something to say about that. And what did he have to say about that? Well, I'm glad you asked. You're fat and you should feel bad about it. No, he didn't say that. But the tank top and the healthy swaps definitely did. His username is @j.nutrition, N-E-W, Trition. And when I first read the username, I didn't see the N. And I thought, wow, that's a unique username. I think the idea of a buff Jewish guy making a fitness account called @Jewtrition is, frankly speaking, fantastic. And if you are a buff Jewish man, feel free to take that idea and just give me credit if you get famous. Also, am I crazy? Because he said,
by just swapping out Greek yogurt with oil, which is...
Doesn't he mean swapping out the oil for Greek yogurt? I thought, oh, maybe he just had like a little, like a mental misstep for a second there, Magic the Gathering card. And he just, messed up, didn't feel like re-recording it. I do that all the time in my videos, shit happens. But then I looked, and the Instagram caption is phrased the same way, which makes me think either he's smoking crack and doesn't know how the phrase goes, or I'm smoking crack because I don't know how the phrase goes. Because I would say that we're swapping out oil for Greek yogurt, not Greek yogurt for oil, because the oil is the normal thing that we're getting rid of and putting Greek yogurt in there. Did I say that right? Anyways, this recipe's ingredients are brownie mix, butter, Greek yogurt, and eggs. And also vanilla ice cream, which I did forget the first time I went to the store. This is another fairly simple recipe. First, take a standard box of brownie mix, add an amount of Greek yogurt equal to the amount of oil listed on the box. Get mad that you accidentally broke the lid to your brand new Greek yogurt. Add your eggs as listed on the box, then mix. I started off mixing this by hand with a spatula, which I usually do for brownies, but the Greek yogurt is even thicker than oil, so I would honestly recommend using a stand mixer or an immersion blender if you have one. I ended up going with an immersion blender because it felt easier. Once it's thoroughly mixed, set it aside and begin melting a tablespoon of butter in a pan on medium heat. I poured the whole thing at once. I do not think this is the best way to do it though. I think you should probably do a little bit at a time, removing the cooked pieces when needed and then adding new batter to the pan. Oh well, live and learn. Then from there, simply treat it as you would scrambled eggs, stirring occasionally and making sure that nothing gets stuck to the bottom of the pan and burned. Then, add a couple of scoops of ice cream to a bowl, and top with your brownie. All right, it's all done here, and honestly, looking at it and smelling it, nothing seems off, so hopefully that reflects on the taste, and this is super yummy. So I am gonna first try it like with the ice cream, but then I will try some of the brownie on its own. Wow! Man, I'm stuffed. I kind of want to go sleep for a while. Now I'm really just going to be focusing on the brownie. I think that's the more intriguing part of this recipe. I don't really care that it's being used as an ice cream topping, and I don't really care that that ice cream is a low-calorie ice cream. I do have some complaints with this brownie. It's not bad. I did enjoy it, but I'm unsure about the scrambling method. Now I know obviously we swapped a pretty important ingredient out in this batch, but regardless of that, I still have questions about scrambling a brownie. I think it leads to an overall more uneven cook. Some parts of the brownie, they felt more fudgy and chocolatey and rich, and other parts felt a little bit more dry and burnt. There was a bit of an odd taste that I could tell was coming from the Greek yogurt. It had a bit of that yogurt sourness that you wouldn't really get from using good oil. And there was a little bit of a toughness to the brownie, and I can't tell if that was because of the uneven cook or because of the Greek yogurt, or because both of those things were working together, which I probably think it was both of them in tandem, making it be a little bit chewy and tough in a not super pleasant way. I don't really want my brownies to be chewy or tough. That being said, it's not awful. I'm just gonna rate the brownies on their own, not taking the ice cream into account here. As far as taste goes, I'll give it like a 6.5 out of 10. No, bump that up to a 7. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Nice. It's pretty decent. Is it better than a normal brownie? No. For easiness to make, I don't know. I don't know about that. Obviously, the whole mixing process was the same as a normal box brownie. That wasn't difficult at all. I'm really just focusing on the scrambling aspect. Is that better than baking a brownie? I don't know. I thought it would be less time intensive. I wasn't right about that. That being said, it wasn't difficult, so I guess I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's basically just a boxed brownie. I still have complaints about the idea of a boxed brownie in general. It's pretty hard to make just like a little bit of brownie if you're using like a boxed recipe. And I don't think the scrambled version lends itself to being shared, but anyways, let's get on to the next segment.
Our fourth
high protein chocolate item we're gonna go over today is a chocolate coffee mousse. And our cursed ingredient for this one, tofu. This year I changed up my eating habits. I became a pescatarian, which means the only meat I eat is fish. That being said, I've still only had tofu once, ever, and it was this year. And to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of it. It wasn't gross by any means, it just lacks flavor, and the texture also is very like boring. I don't know how to explain it, it's just not awesome. That being said, I think kind of like the lack of flavor in the sort of soft crumbly nature might actually help this recipe. I hope you don't think any less of me for trying tofu in this recipe. When I think of tofu, I think of this clip from a childhood show of mine called Teen Titans.
But you're a vegetarian.
Not anymore, dude. And real men don't eat tofu.
Let's get into the ingredients. 300 grams of silken tofu, 5 grams of instant coffee. I got this hazelnut version because it was fairly cheap. 90 grams of dark chocolate, 2 tablespoons of sweetener, which is optional, and then 1 tablespoon of hemp seeds, which I have substituted for chia seeds because I couldn't find hemp seeds and I already had chia seeds at the house. First, let's measure out 90 grams of dark chocolate. Chop it up so it'll melt easier. Then start a double boil. While that's melting, let's add our tofu, hemp seeds, instant coffee, and syrup to the blender. Once the chocolate is melted, quickly pour it into the blender. Then once it's blended, let it rest for 2 hours. I cannot begin to tell you how much of a wrench this throws into the production schedule of my day today. I also can't begin to tell you how upset I am that this fucking recipe broke my magic bullet. Or maybe it didn't. I swear it wasn't working a minute ago. Play the clip. No fucking way. No. All right, well, I guess I'll refrigerate it and try it tomorrow. All right, it has been over 24 hours, I want to say at this point. If not over 24 hours, just about 24 hours, and I just got done working out at the gym. So, if there's ever been a time for a high protein, chocolatey tofu snack, I don't think there ever has been a time for it, but if there was a time for it, it would be now. Listen, I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm thinking. But I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it has a thick mousse-like texture to it. The color is exactly what you would expect from something chocolatey like this. It's very heavy. Oh, and I hear some air coming out of it as I do this. Interesting. Oh, it's sliding down, I see. Okay. The smell is great. I'm getting a lot of that coffee hazelnut instant coffee smell, which I thought smelled great when I was pouring it in. And I'm getting a lot of that here. Pretty excited to try this. Oh my god, okay. Yeah. Would it be a stretch to say that I don't taste the tofu at all in this? No, I literally taste nothing that tastes remotely similar to tofu. The overwhelming flavors on this are definitely the dark chocolate and the instant coffee. This is very, very coffee forward. I used 6 grams total, I believe, of the coffee mixture. They recommended 5. I would maybe just cut this down to 3. I would half the coffee flavor in this because, oh boy, do you get a lot of that coffee. That being said, I'm glad I used a hazelnut coffee instant blend because I like the little hints of hazelnut coming through. The texture, I will say, is just, there's just a hint of grittiness to it. And I don't actually think that's from the tofu at all. I think that's actually coming from the instant coffee. I think perhaps the instant coffee had a little bit of a difficult time getting incorporated fully into the mixture, and that's causing a little bit of the grittiness. I keep saying gritty and grittiness, and I just keep thinking of the dance. But it doesn't detract from the taste score at all. Which, might I add, that's a 9 out of 10. That is a 9 out of 10 on the taste scale. This is great. I'm leaving this in the fridge to snack on throughout the day, and maybe tomorrow after I go to the gym, if I go to the gym tomorrow. I don't think I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow. Out of the 2 tofu things I've tried in my whole life, this far and away clears the other one. So, good job. Easiness to make score, besides the fact that it almost broke my Ninja blender, wasn't too difficult at all, really. You could even melt the chocolate in the microwave if you want to. I just did a double boil because I don't like doing it in the microwave. I always feel like it's gonna burn. This is fairly simple. I don't like that you have to let it sit overnight. I hate when you have to do that in recipes, but technically, that's not a difficult thing to do. It's not difficult to leave it in the fridge overnight. So, I'm gonna give this, I'm gonna have to give this a 9 out of 10 on the easiness score too. This is a very high scoring item, so good job. I cannot remember the name of the person who did this. Good job to you. I'm putting it on the screen right now. On to the next. Is there another one? Let's see. Hello and welcome back to Definitely a Real Chef. I am definitely the real host, Morgan Park. You ever see something that makes you go, huh? Hopefully that is what you thought when you saw the thumbnail and title to this video. That feeling of, huh, is exactly what I thought when I saw this post from hillside.h.olmsted. I must admit, I really do enjoy a username where it's clear it took them 6 or 7 tries to find one that wasn't already taken. At Hillside Homestead. Okay. At hillside.homestead. All right. At hillside_homestead. You want to put 1 hard-boiled egg into some pudding? Go for it. 2? Sure, knock yourself out. Put 12? An entire dozen. You should not be hard-boiling a dozen eggs at a time unless it's Easter. Or you're making deviled eggs. Or if you're making deviled eggs at Easter, I guess that's fine too. Now listen, I hate to yuck someone's yum, but I feel as if in this case, I have a civil obligation to yuck someone's yum. So I address this message to Hillside Homestead personally. Yuck. I hope somebody will execute me or exterminate me. At the very least, I hope someone will be putting me out of my misery before I have to eat this.
Oh, stop. I was just joking. I don't want to die.
What?
They made pudding out of hard-boiled eggs.
Hillside Homestead again? Wait, yeah, how'd you know? I've gotten 3 complaints about them this week. Gotten 3 complaints? What? Who are you? How do you live with yourself? I put up with the questionable ethics of buying chain store grocery eggs by, making something that tastes good, something normal, a perfect sunny side up egg, a rich, delicious dark chocolate cake, a deviled egg. But you boil them up, grind them into a fine powder, and make them into pudding? What's wrong with you? I think you might be a supervillain. I think you're a supervillain. I think you're the Joker, and I'm the Batman, and I'm gonna have to stop you.
Where is she? Where is she? I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
But the chase for views makes a villain out of me too. So our ingredients are 1 cup of milk, a 1/3 cup cocoa powder, 1/2 cup raw sugar, 1 tablespoon vanilla extract, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 12 eggs. The normal ingredient list for pudding, I suppose. First, we're gonna take 12 normal eggs and hard boil them. Then let them soak in a big ice water bath for about, let's say about 20 minutes. After we let our eggs cool in the ice bath for about 20 minutes, we are going to begin the long, grueling, and arduous task of peeling 12 hard-boiled eggs. Out of all 12 I peeled, only 3 gave me trouble, so I'll count that as a win overall. Then what we need to do next is very simple. Combine all our ingredients in the mixer. 12 hard-boiled eggs, a cup of milk, a 1/3 cup cocoa powder, 1/2 cup raw sugar, 1 tablespoon vanilla extract, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then blend until you cannot tell this contains 12 hard-boiled eggs. Then, I guess let it cool for a little bit and you're done. As if letting it cool in the fridge will help your situation at all. Listen, I've been filming this video for a while. Way longer than I would like. Obviously, I had to let the eggs boil. That took a little while. I had to let them cool down. That also took a little while. I filmed an entire video for the Patreon in the middle of filming this video. And then when I came back to try to finish this video, camera battery died, light battery died. I had to let those charge. So the pudding has just been cooling. And this is where we're at now. Pudding! pudding. A couple weird things about this pudding. You might be deceived on the video. Watching this on YouTube, you might think, wow, that looks like real pudding, because it does look like real pudding. It's weird how much it looks like real pudding, actually. But it smells like hard-boiled eggs. Who could have seen that coming? Oh, God. You know, it does smell like hard-boiled eggs, but it also does smell like chocolate, which is... I'm actually not sure if that's better. I'm not sure if it's better to be eating a chocolate hard-boiled egg mixture or just a normal hard-boiled egg mixture. I'm exhausted. I am so tired. I hope this tastes good. But as long as it doesn't taste bad, I'm fine with that too. It actually has much more of a mousse texture than a pudding texture. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit more aerated. That could be for how long I blended it. I'm not sure, but it was really hard to get everything blended up and make sure there weren't chunks of eggs in it, but thankfully there aren't. Not good. Taste-wise, 2 out of 10. And the only reason I'm giving it 2 points is because 1, I didn't throw up, and 2, I didn't even gag. So I feel like that's worth 2 points. That being said, one of the worst things I have eaten in a while. Basically, it tastes like exactly what the ingredients list was. 12 hard-boiled eggs, milk, and cocoa powder. Who would have thought? It's weird. I could actually taste each individual ingredient so distinctly. First, obviously, the milky egg mixture hit me full on. F***ing disgusting. So much concentrated egg at once. And it's already sitting heavy inside me. Second was the righteous amount of sugar and cocoa powder. It was still a little grainy, which is, I'm actually shocked. It looks, I mean, pretty damn well mixed, but no thank you. That's not good. I'm not gonna eat that ever again. That being said, easiness to make, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna give it a 9. That was really easy to make. Now that being said, doesn't matter how easy it is to make when it's bad. No. I want to give a big thank you to all my sous chefs. Maddie Online, Dakota, Nolan, Minecraft Stever, Monty, Zachary Braun, Starfly, Abby Boyd, Holland, Nick, Hannah, Mom, Justin, Andrew, Watson. Last one was just one guy. I did that all in one breath too, which I think is impressive. Sorry it took me 2 months to get this video finished. You know, things happen. We make mistakes. Cool, fun, exclusive stuff will be going up on the Patreon soon, so be on the lookout for that. If you want to be able to watch that and want your name at the end of all my videos, subscribe in the link in my description for $1 a month, and you can be a little sous chef and help me cook up too.